Alright, this is the third video that I'm doing for a friend of mine just to show off some bases. If you watch the other two, I'll go ahead and apologize again because I am not very good at this. This is the first time I've ever tried to record video. I have no idea how to edit. And I've done this on a PlayStation, so it may sound a little odd. But it's just going to be raw video because I don't really know exactly how to do this exactly. But this is actually the second version of this I did because the first one turned out way too long. But anyway, this is my survival character. And this base is one of the ones I'm actually really proud of. I built on Spectacle Island. One of the mods I used, which I'll show here in a minute, is called OCD Decorator. I'll explain it when we get in the base. But this is our wasteland bar and trading depot. One of my scrappers right there walking around. Anyway, as you can see, we got only one way in. Got it built out here on the water. I got to build a bunch of bases and experiment with them, and then this was what I finally ended up with. You can see you got several laser and missile turrets and spotlights here for defense. Just going inside, and I'll kind of show you around, show you what all I did. We got our doctor and our facial reconstruction doctor. Actually, I didn't intend this, but somehow I ended up with the exact same NPC for both these jobs. So kind of looks like I got a set of twins working here. But got some shelves here with the different chems on it, different aid items, and some various medical equipment. Go ahead and while I'm doing this, show you this. So OCD Decorator. Hang on a minute. Yeah, if I got any junk on me. Let's see what we got in here. Let's see. That'll work. Give me one of those. So, ordinarily, if you want to put this globe somewhere, like on a shelf or something, you've got to pick this thing up and kind of fiddle around with it, get it to kind of fiddle around and mess around with it, and try to get it to set down on stuff. Kind of see how aggravating it is. And also, I can't get it to stand up, but you kind of see how aggravating it is to get it to try to stand up on anything. And the other problem with that is even once you get it, anytime somebody walks by, they just kick it, knock it around. Well, with OCD Decorator, the way this works, and I'm not going to go through all of it like I did the first time because it turned out to be way longer. But basically the way it works, if you have any, you can use any junk, any type of junk item, any of that miscellaneous stuff, and we'll go that will work. So anything like this, you can actually put it and it will lock it in. So put this here on the floor, come out, and notice I can't interact with it. And also, that thing is basically just the same as this wall here, or this pile of boxes. It will not move no matter what. NPCs can walk into it, you can walk into it, you're not going to knock this over. And the only way to get that back off the floor, and I actually can't pick that up, is to come back into the build menu and either store or scrap it. go back into the workbench. So that's what I actually did on the shelves and stuff, is I used that OCD decorator, went through the A part, and placed these on these shelves. That's why I cannot actually keep these up.
Not many doctors around.
And they'll actually stay on these shelves. Since they stay on there, they actually, when the base spawns in too, if you just place stuff, sometimes when your base spawns in, it'll actually fall through. But when they're locked in like this, they're part of the base and they will actually stay there. So that's actually a really good mod if you get into the base building and you really want to decorate it, is that OCD decorator. I recommend it. Just, I don't know about PC and Xbox, but on PlayStation, make sure if you have the DLCs that you download the version that covers the DLCs. That way you have access to everything. But anyway, this is our clinic and our facial reconstruction lady, and I do apologize. I went back and looked through some of these videos if I moved the camera around way too much. Because sometimes it looks like a drunken monkey's controlling this. This right here, by the way, is Ada 2.0 R2D2. The actual Ada, just real quick, is actually stuck out here on a raft, and I cannot get her back. I have tried sending her to places. I have tried waiting. I've tried going in dungeons, and she just remains out there. So I just made me a new Ada to follow me around. But yeah, so she's stuck out there. That's why that little marker's there too, actually, because I was making sure this was the same character. Right here we've got our power armor workstation. This one is where I actually will use for my power armor. This one is just kind of to look like I'm working on a suit of power armor. Notice the leg's missing. The leg is actually on this table. Now these two I actually had to lay on the table, and so I have to kind of keep an eye on them from time to time. They have a tendency to fall through the table if you're not careful, and you'll come in, they'll be on the floor and stuff, depending on how the base spawns in when you walk up. But same thing here, I just use that OCD decorator to place these tools on these two little tables, just to look like you had some tools over here to be working on it. Got a box of spare parts there. That may be part of a mod, I don't really remember. I don't recall that being a junk item. Some duct tape, blow torches, various tools. And then we got our power armor that we're trying to repair, rebuild, whatever. Come over here. This is just basically our storage. I actually got this idea from watching another YouTuber's survival, which actually is what got me into the base building. And into the survival aspect was 21 kilotons live stream he done a Fallout 4 a while back. And this is what he did. He had various containers for storing his weapons that he wasn't using, armors, ammo that I'm not using at the time. I think this is all like food and aid and Ada, get out of the way. And then this is just various, I don't remember exactly what this is, it's just various miscellaneous stuff or whatever. But, just a little handy storage, because on survival, if you ever play it, which I would highly recommend playing at least once, see if you like it, because you really find out you learn a lot about the map and stuff. This weight is a premium, especially ammo has weight. So you can't carry near as much because all of your ammo actually has weight to it. So use that for storage. One other mod I've got real quick, I think this actually is part of the Creation Club, but is it backpack on PS4. Actually gives me a little bit more increased carry weight. Matter of fact, right now my carry weight's 255. If I take that backpack off, I drop down to 220. So it gives you a little bit extra carry weight, plus it just kind of fits having a backpack. This is my scrapping station. See my scrapper earlier. Here is our clothing booth, along with
put on some
Ann
wonderful
Hargraves.
radio plays.
Fairly
You should listen
certain she's one of the tier 5 vendors that you can find in Fallout. If I'm not mistaken. Kind of, if I remember right, I got a couple of mannequins here for just decorative purposes to show that it's a clothing store. We have our hairdresser over here. Not really sure why she's looking at the wall, but that's her. if I want to change my hair. This is our armor vendor. Got her all decked out in some armor, and then got some mannequins back here showing off various armors. Just whenever I get a piece of armor, if I like the looks of it, I put it on one of these just for, kind of aesthetics and stuff. Got our armor workbench, which you noticed our chemistry workbench is over there behind our doctor. Got our general store here with our giddy up buttercups and just some various junk items back there on the shelf. Really want to push this back at some point and put a few more shelves up and make this look a little better, but it's what I ended up with at the time. Just haven't been back on this character in a while. Then we have our weapons vendor. Again, actually for these, I actually used the displays that actually come on Fallout 4 because when I tried to place the guns, it didn't want to cooperate too well. But I'm going to use the display racks. Just got some various guns. Some of them are named guns, some of them are just various legendaries I've got, and some of them are just random guns. Got our weapons workbench back here. Fairly certain that's Kellogg's armor that she's got on, if I remember right. More guns over here. You can also use that OCD decorator for ammo stuff.
Yes.
For guns, I just use these kind of same thing for armor. She's in display racks. Apparently we have a radiation storm hitting. But anyway, and looks like it's quitting time for everybody. So everybody's gonna come up here to our lounge. It's just basically a little lounge area. Got some workbenches over there for people to work out on. If I remember right, these actually increase happiness. Thinking, if I remember right. We got our pool table. Now, one thing about that decorator mod, I had to put these pool balls into the side of the table because otherwise they actually sink through the table. So that's why the pool balls look a little bit odd. But every time I just place them on the table, they wind up falling all the way through into the bottom floor or underneath the base. So this is kind of the best thing I can do. From a distance, it looks good, but if you get up here really close, you can kind of see they kind of stick to the table and stuff. Thing real quick, let me just double check something. Yeah. Alright. Actually, there's another place to go somewhere because he's not supposed to be here. Send him up to county crossing as well. Alright.
Yes.
These ladies here that's in the shorts and tank tops, this is all my farmers that had them food. We'll get up there stairs and I'll show you that in a minute. Just kind of something else that I'd got from watching 21 Kilotons videos was putting all my people in clothes depending on their job just so I can keep up with who's doing what whenever I'm trying to mess around in the base. Also, if I ever end up with a bug where everybody randomly gets unassigned, I can actually remember who I had assigned to what.
You gotta take things one day at a time.
No. Over here we just got a little place for everybody to sit down and eat. This is our bar area. The reason I have this extra counter here is because these vendor counters do not have a top on them, so I couldn't actually place anything on the vendor counter. It would just fall through. So I added this to put some the various liquors and stuff on here. Also, this thing, I don't even remember what it is, but I do want to go back in at some point on this base and edit this a little bit and sorry about that, and take some of these bottles out because I actually placed way too many on these shelves and it kind of looks bad, kind of bugs me. But same thing. I use that OCD decorator. That's why I can't pick none of these up. I'd actually have to store all these into my back into my workbench. But same thing I done on this table. That's why there's cigarettes and all this stuff. I can't interact with none of that. I use that OCD decorator to place them. It's kind of a little game area here. Got the pool tables, got the workbenches. You can actually see a couple people getting up off of them now. And If I remember right too, you can actually use those and increase your strength a little bit. I think it's like a temporary buff. But has various people over here working out now, and it looks like the rest of them are waiting their turn. Maybe I need to build some more. My scrapper lady, you saw her earlier, but she's got the coveralls and stuff. She goes out and finds various scrap. Out here, just kind of like a little balcony type area. Got a Nuka-Cola machine. It's just kind of to enjoy the view. Fairly certain it's Warwick Homestead over there, if I remember right. And we got the Pred Wind off in the distance over there. Got a couple of oil lamps out here just for some light. The next floor, all it is our barracks bedding area for everybody to sleep in. I do need to come back in here and actually adjust some of these beds and get them more in line with each other at some point. Get them a little straighter, but they turned out fairly good. One other thing you may have noticed is for generators, I've got another mod that I use on a couple other bases. I'll show you in a couple other videos, but it's called Manufacturing Overhaul, and it comes with these handy little fuse boxes. They produce 8 power, and so I like them better because I don't have to have all the little generators coming around, or I don't have to have one of the big massive generators with wires from everywhere. I can just plop one of these fuse boxes on the wall where I need power and power my guns. And also you see I got some conduit up here with these little these things are power radiators, so you just put random lights up, you can run the conduit and just drop one of these little radiators every so often, and it will provide power for lights within a certain radius of it. So we just got the various conduit running around, coming around over here. Got the same thing, got conduit over here. Fuse there, because those conduits ain't actually joined. Little power radiators, and that's all they're doing is just, oh, they join up here. And they come out there, and so basically what I do, I just run my conduit. I put all my lights up first, and then I run my conduit, and I put the radiators up every so often, and then if I need another one, I can always pick a piece of conduit out and put one of these little T-joints in and drop the radiator where I need it. So that's how I got my lights and powering my guns without having to use a whole bunch of generators and little fuse boxes. They are extremely handy. I do like them. And that manufacturing overhaul also comes with a bunch of stuff if you ever get in a factory building that's really handy, and I'd highly recommend it too if you ever want to build like a factory, like my ammo recycle factory or something like that. Come on up here to the top floor. We've got our artillery man. This particular character, I'm siding with the Brotherhood, and these artilleries are actually really handy because if you actually look online, you'll see you can actually cover a good portion of the map with those artillery. So I've been building those at all my bases, and if I ever get in a tight spot, I can just, one of the things I can do is throw one of these out where the enemies are at, and I can actually let their artillery soften them up or actually kill them depending on the enemy type and everything else. So I do recommend him for survival. He's in like some marine armor that I've got. I think he's still missing a leg actually. But I actually, if you ever do survival and you're gonna get into the base building, which you really need to do if you do survival because the bases have become extremely important, I would highly recommend staying on the Minutemen's good side and actually building one of these at all your bases. It gives you, it actually gives you some defense too at your base. I can't actually highlight that. I can't highlight that and show you how much defense because he's there. But actually go here. It's been a long while since I've actually played this game. Oh, I got artillery actually. It's all separate thing. So it gives you 6 defense. Not really all that expensive to build, and like I said, you actually get coverage for, I'm gonna say 80 to 90% of this map. You actually have artillery coverage. I mean, you don't. There'll be a couple little gaps in it, but for the most part, you'll have pretty good coverage. And when you throw your smoke grenade, you can turn to radio freedom, and you'll know when the shells are coming in. Over here we got our recruitment beacon, which I think is actually turned off right now because I don't want any more people coming in here. I just want to send people here. We got our little decon art. You see I'm fatigued right now, and I haven't ate. That's another thing on survival. You do have to eat, and do have. Gosh, not. I didn't mean to do that, but you do have to eat and drink, and drugs do water. Ignore what she just said. This is our various plants that we planted for our people to harvest. I got some corn, some mut fruit, some potatoes. I think that's all I've actually planted. But I put these up here to basically protect them from any invaders and stuff, so they don't end up damaged as much. Just a couple plaques just for decoration. Got a little bit of a handrail, although I'm pretty sure OSHA will still have something to say about lack of handrails in some of these areas. But that's basically this base. Like I said, it's just something quick and simple video. I'm really proud of how this one turned out. I actually put a lot of effort into this one, and I want to actually go back on this character and a lot of other bases, redo them, because I learned a lot doing this base, and I want to be able to modify those and change those up and kind of change them up a little bit. But that's all for this base. I do hope the few of you who watch this enjoyed it. And I do apologize if I rambled or anything, because like I said, I'm new to all this. May do some more. I've got a couple other ideas for some bases I may do at a later date. But mainly this is just one I wanted to show off real quick, and this was the easiest way to show it off. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.